please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
From NPA Corner, lenders have taken a U-turn on the resolution of stressed power assets. Banks have decided to set aside out-of-court settlements as far as stressed power assets are concerned and instead refer power loans, including the ones under the Samadhan scheme, to bankruptcy courts. Ritu Singh is here to put this into perspective. Ritu, explain why the change of plans now.
That's right, it's back to square one for the stressed power assets. Sources say banks may well set aside the Samadhan plan and instead refer all of the stressed power companies to the NCLT for insolvency proceedings. Now, this means that the 7 assets that the SBI-led consortium was hoping to resolve outside of the court proceedings will also end up in NCLT, including Prayagraj Power, KSK Mahanadi, Jhabua Power, SKS Power, Coastal Energen and JP Power included. This development, of course, comes as a surprise because the banks were actively trying to resolve many of these assets outside the court, and suitors including Tata Power, Adani Power, Edelweiss, ARC, Singapore's Agritrade, all of them were already identified for the sale of these assets. So if you ask, why this U-turn? One, there was not enough time for all the lenders to come on board with the resolution plan. 2, the paranoia among bankers that settlements outside the court means the possibility of CBI or CVC investigations in the future. And 3, some banks actually do believe that higher bids could be achieved under NCLT. So besides these Samadhan projects, there are also several other power companies like Shravanti Energy, Sai, Valdha and SR Power, Ratan India that are also likely to be referred to the NCLT by the 11th of September so that banks can meet the RBI deadline.
All right, Ritu, thanks for that. Now, New Metal is back in the race for Essar Steel. This comes after the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal ruled that steelmakers' second bid for the company to be eligible. On the other hand, it has given ArcelorMittal time till 11th of September to clear dues of its delinquent subsidiaries, which amount to about 7,000 crore rupees. State Bank of India has withdrawn the sale process of Essar Steel after the NCLAT order. The Vedanta Group continues to be the third contender in the race for Essar Steel. Here is the chairman of SBI, Rajneesh Kumar, on the race for Essar Steel and the fate of stressed power assets under the Samadhan scheme.
No, our only the issue about for sale to ARC was that we were not sure that when the order of NCLAT will come, and that's why we just wanted to have alternate options, but it was never the intent that we have to necessarily follow the ARC order. If we can complete the process very quickly, preferably before 30th September, and then the insolvency process remains the preferred option for the bank.
Okay, Mr. Kumar, thank you for joining us. But there is no guarantee, of course, that the NCLAT order will not be challenged. In fact, ArcelorMittal came with a statement saying that they will study the written order, and it's quite possible they'll go to the Supreme Court. So the chances of a decision by September 30 still look very bleak, isn't it?
Even though it looks bleak, but we are also waiting for the detailed written order. But whatever the lawyer briefing is on the oral order given by the Honorable Judge, is that it opens the... one is that the order is very significant from the perspective of the issued around eligibility under Section 29A.
Okay.
It's not all about SRST. It is all about that a clear now court directions or thinking is emerging on who is eligible under 29A and who is not. And as lenders, we are very pleased that all the judgments which have come so far on this subject, they have been very balanced judgments and clears a lot of errors.
So there's another thing we wanted to speak to you regarding, and that is the Samadhan scheme. You as the lead banker were leading the resolution of at least 7 of those 11, power assets. But now, as we understand, you have decided to go in favor of, referring these accounts to NCLT rather than resolving them outside. Could you confirm that for us?
No, it is about the timing issue. So we had made good progress on Samadhan. That is a good solution, but it requires that everybody agrees and agrees within the given time frame. And if their time frame is getting over and there is no relaxation whatsoever in that time frame. So as a regulated entity, we have to comply with what the current regulation is.
So you think all of them are going now to NCLT? It was about 1.8 lakh crore of power assets from that list of assets that was stressed.
Many of them are already in NCLT. And if that is the regulatory guidelines, that is the law, that is the process. So a serious attempt was made by State Bank of India that a solution can come even without going to NCLT, and the only intent is about the time value of the money.
Okay.
So the assessment was that we can save a lot of time value of money by quickly doing it.
But other lenders did not support you?
If not there, then there is no choice.
But other lenders didn't support?
No, they support. There is a complete support, but it is a question of the time taken. They have to go to their management committee. They have to go to their board. There was a complete consensus on all the proposals because it was guidelines driven and not any individual case.
So
there are certain parameters.
Right, sir. So by 11th of September, by 11th of September, which is the deadline for you to refer these assets, how many power assets with, what is the outstanding debt that you will be referring to NCLT?
SIAM annual convention over, automakers and policymakers got together at the Global Mobility Summit in the national capital today. Speaking at the summit, Prime Minister Modi said that his vision for mobility in India is based on 7 Cs: common, connected, convenient, congestion-free, charge, clean and cutting-edge. But there was no major automotive policy announcement for the industry. CNBC TV 18's Parikshit Lustra and Utkarsh Chaturvedi were at that summit. Check out the highlights of the day.
The Prime Minister today assured automakers that the government would soon roll out a comprehensive policy on electric vehicles and also on alternate fuels, even as sources told CNBC TV 18 that the policy on the second phase of subsidies for electric vehicles may take longer to decide. Nitin Gadkari, the Transport Minister, told automakers to change their mindsets, give priority to the future, and also told them that a 12% GST rate for electric vehicles was a good enough concession.
The goods and service tax has helped us rationalize supply chains and warehouses networks. Our reforms are on the move. We have made India an easier place to do business. India is moving ahead with new energy, urgency, and purpose.
So when you talk about subsidies and FAME 2, I think it's still being worked upon. What will be the focus? Will it be batteries? Will it be public transport?
Only it is 12% GST on the electric vehicles. I feel that this is a great incentive.
Okay. And finally, sir, going forward in the years to come, how will this become really popular? Because all the automakers today are saying that we need adequate infrastructure.
You must just see, wait and watch. Within 2 years, total scenario will be changed.
It was a big showcase event for the Modi government to show how serious it is towards electric mobility in India. We spoke to a host of India Inc. leaders to understand their point of view of how do they rate this event and PM Modi's speech.
Today we are selling about 3.5 million cars in India. If 30% of sales in 2030 become electric, there will be about 3 million cars, right? Which means that in 12 years, if we were a country which was not growing in numbers, we would have achieved almost 100% electrification. No country in the world is even targeting complete electrification in 12 years.
We're going to make this happen. Clearly, one C that was not there is cost effective. And we do have to make it cost effective also. And there will be a viability gap in the beginning. We need to see how do we fill the viability gap. Do the OEMs put in some money in the beginning and get it back later on? Does the government put in some money? How does that happen? So we have to fill the viability gap.
This industry, when you're making a change, has to be driven by regulation. So they have to bring the regulations out. You know, what is the regulation? Like, there is a vehicle regulation today. All right, so for electric vehicle, there is no regulation as of now. So you need a framework.
What is necessary there, it's a little bit of framework of policies. What we see at the moment there, we have different actions always ongoing on different fields of this policy. Yeah? And there is a general framework necessary to get more security where the way goes.
India Inc. seemed happy when it comes to the positive commentary and the intentions of the Modi government towards the EV mission. But there was a slight disappointment in the air when it comes to no announcement of the FAME 2 policy, because what the industry at this point of time is looking at is more action than intentions when it comes to the road to electric vehicles. In Delhi, with Parikshit Luthra, Utkarsh Chaturvedi.
Well, moving on, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh has hit out at the Modi government over what he terms as failure to constructively deal with the agrarian crisis. Speaking at the book launch of his cabinet colleague Kapil Sibal, Manmohan Singh also took aim at the government on job creation. He said that employment rate in India has been declining for the last 4 years.
This government has not constructively dealt with the agrarian crisis facing the nation. And the indication of that is that every now and then in state capitals and in the national capitals, farmers rise in protest. Our farmers are still not assured of receiving remunerative prices for their produce. Our youth are desperately waiting for the promised 2 crore jobs per annum. In fact, employment growth rate has been declining in the last 4 years. People are not impressed with the figures that are being put out by the Modi government to justify the creation of large number of jobs.
Meanwhile, a day after Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao dissolved the Telangana Assembly 8 months before its term's end, speculations are rife about the state going to polls along with Rajasthan, Mizoram, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh later this year. However, today, Chief Election Commissioner O.P. Rawat dismissed any such speculation and asserted that the Election Commission would assess if the polls in the state could be held along with 4 others. Rawat said that the Supreme Court in 2002 had ruled that elections to a state should be held as soon as a house is dissolved so that the caretaker government does not reap unnecessary benefits. However, Rawat added that the poll commission would first take a stock of preparedness in the state and then take a decision.